What do you get when you mix a health coach and a wellness coach mixed with a lot of curiosity? You get two people who ask a lot of questions about health and wellness. Today we ask, why do we always have room for dessert?
You know the scene. You have had a great meal and are stuffed, but someone suggests dessert and your body suddenly finds room. What is going on? Let's get started as we ask.
Wait, what? I think we should apologize in advance to anybody that may want dessert after listening to this episode,
I
right?
totally agree. I totally agree.
By the way, I think there's a difference between dessert and I want sugar.
Oh, you
I
do?
do.
Oh,
So
I can't wait.
this topic was a little bit hard for me because I kept going, "Oh, but is this me or is this I just want sugar?"
Mhm.
So I think there's a distinct difference.
Yes, I totally agree.
Okay. So call to action, how was yours last week?
Very interesting. So mine was to reduce the amount of time I pick up my phone.
Oh, okay.
And it was not just like social media or anything that you're doing, but just I pick it up at random moments. What I realized is I have a big problem. I
Mhm.
am severely addicted to my phone. And what
More
I
than you
mean,
think, more than
yes.
you thought, right?
So when I'm at a stoplight, I picked up my phone.
Mhm.
When I am uh changing clothes, I'm playing words with friends, thinking about a word. When I'm in the getting dressed, getting ready for the day, I have stories running, just watching them. I have a problem.
Mhm.
But the good news is I after 2 weeks of not doing my call to action, I did it and I reduced my usage by 12%.
Wow!
Yeah.
In your first week?
Yes. And I didn't think I did it about that much, but I think I did reduce it.
Okay, so what was the easiest one to get rid of? Like, the getting ready?
None none of them
None?
were easy.
Okay,
But
fair.
I think when we were in the car and I told you I wanted to be more present with my husband,
Yes.
um, so I tried to put my phone down. There were still times when I would say, "Hold on, I have to reply to this text," but I don't count the texts or emails.
So that was the hardest one.
Mhm.
Yeah, I could see
Oh,
that
yeah.
being the hardest.
I don't know what it is about that phone. Even
I
when it's
think
not with you, you're like, "Where'd the phone go? Where'd the phone
I
go?"
think if anybody's being honest, they all have this problem. I shouldn't say all, but I would say like 95% of us. I don't think we
Yeah.
realize it.
I would challenge anybody to look at when you're picking up your phone.
Mhm.
I mean, I understand when you're standing on a line and you're just passing time,
Oh
but
my god, I can't stand standing in the grocery store anymore. By the way, what did I do before a phone?
I know.
What did I do? Because I can't stand that. Waiting rooms, horrible. I don't know what I did without a phone. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Well, we used
all
to
of
read
those.
magazines.
That's true. Yeah.
That's when I caught up on all my, like, social gossip.
That's true. People magazines were the best there. But
Yes.
yeah. So are you gonna continue with it?
Yes. I definitely wanna keep on working on being more present and reducing it, and I just think it'd be better for my mental health to reduce my phone usage.
Oh, yeah. For sure for your mental health because some of that stuff you see, you don't even realize it's making an impact on you. Do you know what
Oh,
I mean?
yeah. Yeah.
I don't think I do. I mean, I
Well,
a little bit
I
more, but
I
not
also
there.
don't want to okay, this sounds really perverted, but I'm like a voyeur into other people's lives, especially when I'm watching stories or reels or TikToks. I'm just being a voyeur and being nosy, which that's
Which is
part of my
right.
gift.
I'm the nosy neighbor that sits on the porch and eats popcorn all the time. Come on. They need people like us.
Oh, yeah, but I don't want to have that stop me from living my life because 'cause I'm
Okay. Okay,
so deep
that's a
into
different line. That's a hard line.
you think?
Because yeah, because I guess if you can do it responsibly where you don't let it deviate from your life maybe, but I
Mhm,
don't know if we have enough ways to do that yet. I mean, do you know what I'm saying?
mhm.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, there is some good as being a voyeur in other people's lives. There truly is, I think.
Really?
Just yesterday, I was took my daughter skating and I'm just sitting there. So I was on my phone And I texted my one friend and I said, "How's your daughter? I saw something that she posted." And my friend was like, "Oh God, what'd she post?" And she went, "I'm on vacation. Please reach out to her. I didn't know this was going on." Like, that's a perfect example of, do you know what I mean? Like how I could have stepped in and
Right.
helped somebody.
Right.
Or when I call my mom and I'm like, "Hey, how's this person doing that I saw?" And my mom's like, "Oh my gosh, I have no idea. Let me reach out." You know what I mean? Like, I think
Yeah.
that there's a responsible way to be a voyeur,
Right.
and there's like me calling you going, "Oh my god, you're never gonna believe da 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 da." Now, I'm not gonna lie, I do both. Just saying, I do both
Yeah.
things, but
Yeah. So I think it was a success and I'm happy and I think some of that doom and gloom I had over me is lifted a little bit. So I'm
good.
going to keep working on it.
Good. I think that's good for you, though.
How about you?
Mine has been doing really good. I'm still not doing, social media in bed,
Nice.
not at all. I'm now, a Google doctor. I've diagnosed everything wrong with me because I'm not checking social media, so I don't really know if that's helpful or not.
Yeah.
Um but on the other hand of that, when I am reading medical things that could be wrong with me, I fall asleep. So
Oh,
there's both of those sides of it. You know what I mean?
that's
Like,
nice. Yeah.
so I'm not on social media in bed, but sometimes I'm still doing things that probably I should just not do.
Hmm.
And I'm like, well, it's not social media. You know what I mean? I'm making
Yeah.
excuses is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But one baby step at a time, right?
Yes. Yes. That's all you can do.
Mhm. I like it better at night, because at night I was going on and watching stupid reels forever, and, like,
Hmm.
that was just keeping me awake. So now at least I'm doing something else.
Yeah.
At least maybe you can call it that, I don't know.
Yeah.
My vegetable eating is going great because that was my part of my trifecta.
Nice.
My arms, non-existent, but my stretching is, like, 50% there. So, I mean, my trifecta is doing okay. How's your trifecta going?
Well, I did post a story about how I hadn't started until Friday.
Mhm.
I told you this funk was overwhelming me. So I just really wasn't motivated. And then I hear people talking about how well they're doing and how much they're doing. And I felt like
Yeah.
this is ridiculous. I need to be a good role model. So,
But you have identify what your funk is, and I think that's huge.
mhm.
I think that's what we learned this month was, like, you can't get out of a funk until you can identify what it is.
Yes, absolutely.
So, did
Yeah.
you identified it, now you're getting out of it.
Yes. Well,
Also, you
I
can't
think,
jump out of the funk.
well, in a way, I can because
Okay.
I always reach a point where I'm like, I'm sick of this.
Oh, okay.
I just need to change something.
Mhm,
So I think I get to a point where I'm sick of myself being,
mhm.
like all gloomy.
I had a member tell me once, a long time ago, "Nothing changes until you get pissed off enough."
Yeah.
And I was always like, "Is it true?" Like, and I still don't know how I feel about that quote, but I think you hit that moment,
Hmm.
you
Yeah.
know?
Sick
So
of
you gotta get
myself.
mad.
I was just like, I'm striving to be happy. What's wrong with me? I can't be stuck
Mhm.
here.
So
So then
yeah.
I did the vegetables. I will be tonight doing the kitchen close at 7:30 and the in
Mhm.
bed by 9:30. So,
Okay. So you're gonna do it.
yep. Even when we were out for dinner the past 2 nights, I was like, "Oh, wait, I need some vegetables." So, it was good. It
Oh, good
helped
for
me.
you.
Yeah.
Hmm. Like real vegetables too, huh? From
Well,
like,
like a dish that had vegetables
yeah,
in it,
gotcha.
not just a salad or
Right,
something,
that's
but
that's what I meant, and I know everybody gets mad at me when I'm saying I count salad as a vegetable, but it's not like a quote unquote vegetable. You know what I
it
mean?
is, but
I
that
know.
wasn't an option, so I wanted to make sure I had vegetables.
Gotcha.
So,
Yep. Side note, I know we want to jump into this topic, but did you see I food plan for 2 weeks?
I saw that. What motivated you to plan for 2 weeks?
Okay, I really feel like I hate to say this out loud, but I want to like make that a challenge for people because I want
Oh,
you, not you exactly, but people in general to try 1 week and see how you feel after it.
mhm.
Because that 1 week that I didn't do it was like eye opening to me. So I feel
Yeah.
like if more people took the time to do it and, like, made that a call to action for themselves, like, picked a day and then sat down and really did it, and take the excuses out, like,
Mhm.
there's no reason you can't plan 7 days of food because guess what? If something comes up and you don't eat it, then you just don't eat it. There's
Right.
no reason for you to say,
Right.
"Oh, on Wednesday, I don't know what I'm gonna want on Wednesday."
Honestly, the week I did it when I was away, it saved me so much time and so much brain power.
Yeah. I don't know, I just feel like anyway, so what reason I did that was because, it's just a tough time with Thanksgiving and holidays, and I'm hosting, and I just, like, just be so much easier if I just get it all done right now, including the food and everything. I didn't do
Yeah.
the Thanksgiving food, but everything else, just get it all done.
You know, I have this notebook that I don't even know when the earliest time was, but I would write down my schedule. I would make the Thanksgiving Day meal menu
Mhm.
because we don't do turkey and all that stuff. And then I would work backwards in terms of what I needed to do. So I have days mapped out with every day what we're going to eat while people are here, but also backwards in terms of what day I clean the bathrooms, what day I
Do you
clean
have that
if
done
I
this year already?
I haven't, and I was like, I need to do that today because it has helped me so much.
Yes. I think it's like the thought of doing it overwhelms us, but you have to just get rid of that. Like that's not a helpful thought. So push it
Mhm.
aside and just do it because like you said, it's going to help you so much. The future
So
Kamala will be
much.
like, "You're a rock star." You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, even I enjoy looking at previous years. What did I do and what did I plan and how did I manage my time? It's really helpful.
I think so too. Anyway.
Um,
Wow.
so I do have a what I love today.
Oh yeah.
I forgot about it until you reminded me.
And I forgot about it just now.
So this is a shampoo that my hairdresser recommended to me because I think I've hit that age where, my hair is starting to thin and I've lost a lot of volume and thickness. And I used to have such thick hair that um, it would take my mom a half an hour to brush out my hair when I was little.
Oh.
But I don't have that anymore, and my ponytail is, like, real thin. So my hairdresser recommended this shampoo. It's called Pura, Pura, second word is D apostrophe O-R, Pura Dior, Pura D'or. It's an anti-hair thinning biotin shampoo.
Oh.
It's all natural ingredients.
And you got it on Amazon?
I got it on Amazon. I got the
Okay.
shampoo and conditioner as a pack. It is a little pricey, but I don't use a lot of it.
Okay.
It doesn't sud up very well, but we've talked about how the
That's what
things
you want actually. Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
And it's all natural ingredients, and it's supposed to help because it has rosemary also. It has tea tree oil, Korean seaweed, nettle leaf extract, and some other things I don't know. Vitamin E oil, black cumin seed oil, argan oil, a lot more. And it's supposed to help regrowth. So,
Oh. When did you
yeah,
start?
I've been using it probably for 2 months.
Oh, do you feel a difference?
Well, I see like little baby hairs, but I don't know what
Oh.
that is, what it is. But she'll tell me when I go get my hair cut.
Oh, good, keep us posted.
Yeah. It
Do you
is a little pricey, but I mean, if you're wanting to work on your hair volume, I think it's worth it.
well, if it's something that's gonna it's that self-care piece.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
I think, that's really important to do. If you are self-conscious about some part of your body, then
Yes.
you need to take the steps to take care of that, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Well, and a lot of women in my age bracket and up, because of loss of estrogen, they
That's
do
what was my
start.
question was, why do we lose hair?
It's just something with the estrogen. Estrogen fuels so many things in our body. It keeps our joints happy and prevents a lot of pain. And like women who have a frozen shoulder, it's from being in perimenopause or menopause.
Frozen
And
shoulder is?
yeah, it's like the pain where they're like they can't move or rotate
Yeah.
or they can't lift. It's lack of estrogen. So this perimenopause business is it's just no fun.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
not
If we
a
weren't
joke.
recording right now, I would be like, "Stop what you're doing. I need to text my friend right now because she is having so much all pain right there, and we're the same age." And we joke with each other. We're like, "We were both going through perimenopause right now."
Right.
And then I joke and I'm like, "I'm younger than you by, like, not even a year," and I lie and I'm like,
Mhm.
"You are, but I'm not," kind of, like, thing, but yeah.
It's very common.
Hmm. Okay, we need to talk about how to get past that, but maybe
Yeah.
another time. Alright.
So, are
So
you a
go
dessert
ahead.
person?
So, no.
What?
When I realized there's a difference, no. When I eat dinner, I don't want dessert right away. I
Okay, you
want it
will have to explain this to me because I don't understand people who don't
okay.
want dessert.
So, I don't think there's ever been a time in my life, maybe, we'll just say 10 out of 45 years that I've been alive, that I've gotten dessert after dinner at a
Wow.
restaurant. I didn't my family never did. We've never gotten dessert at restaurants. Um, so no, in that aspect. And at home, when I was growing up and even now, we don't have dessert right after. Couple hours
Mm.
later, we'll have, like, a snack, and that's usually when it's ice cream or something along those lines,
Huh.
but not a dessert person. I love dessert food, but if we're talking about the timing of dessert, then no.
I always have room for dessert. I don't eat it much anymore, but I always and
So,
that
did you always have, like, dessert?
I don't know as a child, but I think we always had like milk and cookies before bed. That was probably
Yes.
a thing. And my kids had milk and cookies before bed.
Yes. But that wasn't, like, after dinner. I mean, it
No.
was, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I have always been a dessert person, and I'm probably an anomaly in my family.
Okay.
My kids enjoy it, and my husband is he'll eat it, but I'm the one who's like, I need dessert. Let's go find a place for dessert. And the place we live, nothing's open past 8 o'clock. So if we're not eating dessert at that restaurant, there's nowhere else to get it.
So do you typically get dessert at a restaurant?
Not as much anymore, just
But you
because I'm trying to
used to?
watch the show. Oh yeah. We got it last week and I was like, I really miss eating dessert. I really miss it.
Wow. I mean, I guess I like dessert and I eat dessert, but if we're talking about, like, after dinner, like, do I need it to complete my meal? No.
Yeah, I'm really jealous of you.
But
Really.
believe me, I eat it. It's just usually, like, I need to, like
No, I understand what you're saying, but I'm
yeah.
saying that right after I finish my meal, I have this like
Oh,
uh urge or wish or secret voice that's like, don't you want dessert? Don't you want dessert? Don't you
yes.
want dessert? What can you find? And I have nothing in my house. So I was like, yeah, I was even thinking I need to make something that I can keep because I need to scratch that itch.
Mhm. I have that voice, but it's not for several hours after I eat.
Okay.
It's there. It's like, you need something right before bed. Come on, you need something. So I think it's just a timing thing.
Mm,
But then again, it's just something. So maybe it's not always dessert mindset because sometimes I want popcorn or something. So and that's not dessert.
right. Oh,
Okay.
wow.
So wait,
This
when you
is
have that little voice, would a piece of chocolate work?
no,
Okay. Thank you
no.
for honesty being honest there. No?
No, I need if I am in the mood for dessert, I
It's got
need well, I need it's a textural thing for me, and I learned why, but I
mm,
need like, if it's a cookie, it has to be crispy on the outside and gooey on the inside, and it has to have the chocolate with a little bit of, like, the salt balance, or if it's a ice cream and cake dessert, sorry to anybody who's listening and not able to eat it, but if it's ice cream, then it has to have, like, a cake or a pie or something with it. It can't just be one thing. It has to be, like, textural
oh my gosh. So
variation.
you are also but you I think we've narrowed this down. You're also a quality eater, not a quantity.
Yes.
So this all makes sense to me. Like you want a good quality dessert.
Yes, yes.
Yes. I don't
We
yeah.
I mean, I know this is not the same thing, but we were at Costco yesterday and my husband convinced me in quotes to have an ice cream. And I was like, nah, I don't really want it. I mean, it wasn't calling my name. And we got it and I took a few spoonfuls out in a different cup and he's like, take some more. So I took a couple more spoons, but it was like this much of the whole cup.
Mhm.
And I was eating it and I'm like, this doesn't taste good to me. I could leave it. but you feel bad because you spent all that money. But like
It
this
wasn't
is
that great?
it didn't scratch the itch. It didn't
Hmm.
taste good. It tastes very artificial to me. So I think you're right that I like want quality
Quality. You want
for
quality
sure.
dessert. Yeah.
Yes.
Hmm.
I'm already planning what I'm gonna make for Thanksgiving because that's my thing. I make desserts.
Yeah, you're a good dessert maker too. I've never had a bad dessert that you make.
Oh, thank
My
you.
little sister's the dessert maker too. She makes such
Oh,
good desserts. It's
I
crazy.
want to try do something with that. The Dubai chocolate where it has the pistachio cream and the phyllo dough in the. Have you heard of this?
No, but I'm gonna
But
might have to look
like
it
people have
up.
made variations on this dessert, so I'm gonna make either a cheesecake or a something. I'm gonna do with this. I have to get the pistachio cream, and I'm gonna make something
Wow. This
because it
I
has the
want to Google
crunchy from
that.
the
It's
phyllo dough
Dubai dessert?
chocolate bar.
I don't. Okay. I'm gonna have
But
to
it
look
has
it up.
the creaminess from the chocolate and the cream. It has a crunchy from the phyllo dough.
Hmm.
It's like sweet and savory all at the same
It's
time.
like green. I'm pulling it up right now.
Yes,
It's like a green color.
yes.
It doesn't, okay, it doesn't look good to me.
No, it doesn't, but I think it would be amazing.
I mean, it literally looks not
Green.
good at all.
Baskin Robbins has an ice cream bar based on this.
Really? It's that good?
Hmm. That's what people are saying. I haven't eaten it
Oh
because
my
I
gosh,
didn't want
please
to.
make it. I would love for you to let us know how it is and post
Yeah.
pictures. It looks, oh, I don't know what it looks like.
Well, I think it's going to taste good though.
Okay. All right. Please, this was, now you have to make it because now everybody's gonna
Yeah.
want to know.
Yeah.
Yours will be
So,
good.
well, I hope so. I don't know what I'm going to make yet, but I was wondering what person
Yeah.
came up with this idea of you have to eat dessert.
I don't know, but do you love them or do you not love them? I can't tell where you're
I
going with.
don't think I love them because
Okay.
but the tradition of serving dessert after a meal originated in France.
Oh,
And the word
that doesn't
dessert,
surprise me, by the way.
no, no.
Okay, go on.
The word dessert comes from the French word, and I'm going to butcher this, I'm sorry in advance, desservir, which means to clear the table. So in between the course, you would
Oh,
clear the table and you would clear the napkins. You would get new napkins before dessert. And the dessert used to be like a fruit or something that was like
healthy
yeah, a little bit
ish.
on the healthier side.
Okay.
Something else really interesting. Up until the 17th century, desserts were meshed together with savory dishes and were used as palate cleansers.
So you mean like you would eat something at the end of your meal and it just would like, and the
Or
sweet was with it?
or even like if you had an appetizer or an amuse-bouche, then you would eat
A what?
something's amuse-bouche, it's a bite of
Oh,
something.
I did not, I've never heard of that. Okay.
Oh, and then you would eat a dessert or something sweet, and then it would cleanse your palate, and then you could eat your next course.
I must have never eaten fancy in my life because I've never needed my palate cleansed, I don't think.
And then they went from having it after every course to just having a little bit at the end of the meal.
Oh. Does like the sweetness cleanse your palate? Is that what they're
That's what they're
saying?
saying. Yeah. But I think our desserts have changed. Where
Yeah,
it used to
like
be a little bite of like a date or fruits or something like a pudding. Now we have cakes and pies and ice cream and
mhm.
giant sundaes and
And
we
all
have
of
all,
that combined, like pie
yeah.
with ice cream and then
Yes.
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 True. True. Man. All right. Well, that's kind of cool though that that's what it means like to clear the table, dessert.
Yeah. I was really fascinated with that because I was like, I don't know who must have, and obviously it was the wealthy who ate these
Yes. I
things.
read that in my findings too. It was like one of those things like the wealthier always had dessert.
Hmm.
Which
Yeah.
kind of makes sense to me, like a little bit, like why we didn't have dessert at restaurants when I was little. Because if we went out, like that was kind of a big deal.
Right.
And we just, it wasn't even something that my parents were like, do you guys want dessert?
Mhm.
because it was probably too expensive.
Oh,
Do you know what I mean?
that's a good thing.
No, yeah, it is. Completely a good thing because I clearly don't need that as a habit now. And I
Mhm.
think that's probably what we've done, my husband and I, with my kids, is we don't ever say, "Does anybody want dessert?" Because
Mm.
we just spent a fortune on dinner, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then yeah, and then we usually have something at home anyway.
Um, last week we were at a restaurant and we finished our dinner and the waiter brought us our check and I said, "Well, what if we want dessert?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And I was like, "Don't make an assumption that I don't want dessert. Please."
Oh, you said that to him?
No, I wasn't being nasty. I was just
No,
like,
you
"What if
were
I want
laughing.
dessert?" Yeah.
Was he laughing at you?
Yeah.
Did
And then
he think you
he
good?
in chocolate he wrote thanks on the plate.
Oh, you did get dessert then.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I wanted to explain what I meant about the whole sensory thing.
Okay.
There's something called sensory specific satiety.
Okay.
And what this means is your senses get tired of a specific taste or texture
Hmm.
after eating it, but you're excited to try something new.
Hmm.
And so if you're eating a meal and it's like very one texture, like it's all mushy or it's all bland or, like it's just, you get tired of, you're like, I'm tired of eating this and so
Hmm.
much work or whatever it is. Then your brain or your mind or your body wants something interesting.
Of a different texture.
Yes.
Hmm.
And it could be a different like the sweet or it could be the savory and sweet, what I was talking about,
Hmm.
or it could be crunchy and sweet, but it
Yes.
wants
I found the same thing, and I didn't know it was called that though. You got a good fanciness word out of it, but like it was like almost interesting. It's like your brain needs the stimulation,
Mhm.
and it's not getting it from the pudding that you're eating, so it wants something different. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm. Have you ever been somewhere like at a school thing where they have a bake sale?
Yes, and I want everything that's there,
Yes.
every single
Yes.
thing. My brain is going, I want that. That's going to be like, and I'm not. I want it all.
Mhm.
This also made me think about little kids actually, which I thought was
Oh,
pretty
really?
interesting because little kids always want different things. Like I feel like
Mhm.
they have like 5 bites of something and then they want a cookie and then they want that cookie and then they want fruit snacks and then they want the fruit
Yes.
and I'm like, "Well, no, this is so smart." Like this is why their brain is just constantly like needing more stimulation, which
Mhm.
is exactly how little kids are anyway, which is why play is so important to keep their mind stimulated.
Yes.
So I feel like we get mad at kids all the time for constantly wanting to eat this. No, you just had a popsicle. No, you just had this. Well, because their brains are constantly needing more stimulation.
Yeah.
It's just nature. It's just part of who they are. You know what I mean?
Well, yes. And for me, we were sitting a couple of days ago when we had gone to eat Indian food. I know it's ironic that we're Indian, going out to eat Indian food, but it was a little spicy. And I was telling my husband, I just need a bite of ice cream because I need it like the
To
cooling
cool it
and
down.
yeah,
Did you go get ice cream?
no,
Oh,
because we can't just get a bite anywhere.
I
Either
know.
you,
No, you can. Well,
no,
you can get a kid's cone, but it's still not a bite.
it's still too big.
Yeah.
I think one or two bites would be enough, and I don't know where I can find that.
Yeah, I don't think you could. Because there's no money in that.
Yeah. Well, so, like, if I could satisfy that sensory piece for me with a couple of bites, I'd be so happy.
Hmm.
And if you have it at home, you're eating the whole thing, so
Yeah,
forget
you
it.
can't have a little sliver of it. Yeah, no,
No.
you're right on that for sure. So why do we do it?
Mhm.
What'd you come up with?
Um, well, one is that sensory satiety thing,
Yep.
but it also there's your brain rewards you. So if you're eating sugary and fatty foods like dessert, it stimulates the brain's reward system,
Mhm.
which leads to cravings and happiness and dopamine and
All
serotonin.
of those good chemicals that were
Hmm.
released. Yeah, it's so true. And you do feel good after you have it, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Short,
Very good.
very short-lived though, for most people
Hmm.
anyway. Because then I'm like, oh, why did I eat that? You know what I mean?
Well, for me, it's that, but also after half an hour, I think I want to eat something like
Yes, yes,
that.
yes. Yeah. So I found out a couple things, like why we traditionally want dessert or why we have the dessert mindset. Um,
Okay.
a lot of it for us is cultural, for some of us, which is what we were
Oh.
talking about, but, um, it's a symbol in some cultures of hospitality and generosity.
Mhm.
So that's a huge thing if it's been in your family forever or it's in your cultural background, like, some cultures have it as, like, a ceremony after they eat, or,
Oh,
it's a sign of respect or wealth. So if you
yeah.
came to my house and I didn't give you dessert, then that's I'm either A, not respectful of you, or don't have the wealth to, you know what I mean? So
Wow.
there's a lot to a dessert mindset more than just your brain wanting it. Like, sometimes
Yeah,
it's part of who you are. Just
that
who
makes sense.
Yeah. Also, tell me if that you're guilty of this. It's also, for some people, a form of self-care.
Hmm.
You know what? I've
I
had a really long day. I'm gonna have dessert tonight after dinner.
Oh, well, I yes and no.
Okay,
For
why?
me,
Tell
no,
me.
yes and no.
Okay.
Like, I think I do that when I'm like, I'm really upset. I deserve dessert.
Mhm.
I guess that would be self-care or that's just indulgence. I'm not
Well, I think
sure.
I'm putting myself in this group. I think some people don't practice self-care enough. So that is self-care. If I
Mhm.
like Friday, I'm like, "We're getting handles tonight, guys, just so you all know." Because to me, I was like, "This was a really long week.
Mhm.
This is how I'm going to give myself some self-care." I understand that it's not really self-care.
Wait, Handles is still open?
Oh, 365 days of the year, and you can
Okay.
call ahead.
Okay.
Just
Sorry.
saying. And they have French silk pie right now
Oh
for
my God.
Thanksgiving.
Forget it.
Anyway, don't go get it. Actually,
Yeah,
no,
you're right though. It is kind of a form of self-care. Like if you had a
right?
hard day, hard week, you're like, I need a break. I just want something, a little pick me up.
Mhm. So
Yeah.
that's part of it.
Mhm.
Um, Nostalgia,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna like for Thanksgiving, like a lot of the desserts we have right after dinner, that dessert mindset is. I remember one year we didn't have pumpkin pie, and everybody was like, "Who was responsible for bringing that? Like, what's going on?" And I was like, "It, it's just one of those things for a lot of people."
Yeah.
I can't imagine going to a birthday party and not having cake after we have dinner.
Really?
I can't. Well, we have ice cream in my family, but when I have a party, like, there's the nostalgia there. We have to have
Yeah.
cake.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the dessert.
Mhm.
So, I have 2 more.
Mhm.
Do you have any of them?
I have a one, but it's yeah, anyway, go ahead.
Okay, the other 2 is, for some people, dessert is an art form.
Oh, I think
I
that's me.
I think that's you too. You appreciate the presentation and the
Yes.
quality of it. It's an
Yes.
art form. And to you, that is like a really like I'm not an artist at all, but there are people that love art and they get so into it and they can really appreciate the value of it, just
Yeah.
like, or not the value, well, that and the beauty of it, right? And
Yes.
I've seen on TikTok videos like dessert come out, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
Or we know several people that make beautiful cookies, and you're just like, you don't
Yeah.
eat them because it's like an art.
Mhm.
So
They're
that's
so
another
pretty.
thing.
Yeah.
Or think about, like, a wedding cake or something that's just beautiful. It's that dessert
Mhm.
mindset, like, I can't wait to go to a wedding because I want that cake. It's so
Yeah.
pretty and delicious and amazing.
Yes.
So, and then my
Yes.
last one, and we've touched on this in a lot of our call to action groups, is a lot of us love with food,
Mhm.
and it's that joy of sharing you get from the
Mhm.
dessert. Like, when you get a dessert at a restaurant and you're sharing it with somebody,
Yeah.
you get a joy out of that.
Yeah. For me, there's also joy in serving dessert. So
Yeah.
if I have a dinner party and I've made some things that people don't eat and people are like, "Oh my God, this is amazing." I just get so deliriously
Mhm. Yeah.
happy.
See, there's a love language there.
Yes. Yes.
So there is more to it than just, "Oh, I just want dessert."
Mhm.
Don't you think?
Yes.
Yeah.
Much more to it.
A
I
lot.
was also looking up something. We've talked about this a little bit in the past, but appetizers that you have can impact the desserts that you have.
What do you mean?
So if you have something high in carbohydrates or low in protein and low in healthy fats, then by the time you get to the time for dessert, you're like blood sugar is crashed. So you're ready for a little pick me up.
So wait, so give me an example of what kind of appetizer.
So the first thing that comes into my
Okay.
mind is like if you're at a Mexican restaurant and you're sitting there
Okay.
with a basket of chips
Oh yeah, I love them. We
and
get
you
like
go to town with
yeah.
these chips.
And then I want dessert afterwards?
Yes. So if you eat all those chips and by the time it's, let's say an hour, by the time you finish your meal, get your meal and finish it. And then by that hour, you've spiked your blood sugar from the salty chips. And then it crashes because it's not a stable increase. It just goes
Right.
peaks and then it crashes. So by the time you have dessert, you come around for dessert, you want it.
You want it. Oh, that's interesting. And if you had something like, let's say, mozzarella sticks, you
Hmm.
might not want it as much because the protein and I mean, I know it's not a good,
Yeah.
but in the fried oil, but
Hmm.
like just a little, like maybe something similar to that is what you're meaning?
Or a restaurant that has free bread.
Okay.
When they
Yeah.
give you bread before, that's the reason
Mhm.
why.
They want you to get a dessert.
Yeah, because desserts are expensive.
Yeah. And it just racks up that bill.
Yeah.
That's interesting too, though, isn't it?
It's a whole psychology of serving food.
What would be a good appetizer? Because I don't think I've ever seen one besides a
So
veggie tray.
something with like I mean, I don't eat this, but like the dates stuffed with some nuts or something and then wrapped with uh
Like
some
a
type of
bacon or something,
yeah.
or ham or something like
Mhm.
that. Oh, like
'Cause
water chestnuts and wrapped in bacon would be a good one.
mhm.
Hmm,
Or something that's like has some of the other food groups, not just simple
a
carbs.
simple carb, right, okay. I wonder how bruschetta would fall into that with, like, a fresh mozzarella?
Oh, yeah, I think that would be a good one because you have the textural difference, the crunch crispy bread, the
Right,
tomatoes that
and it's
are
not like a never-ending supply of
mhm.
chips, it's like a piece of bread with the and sometimes you don't even eat that part because your bruschetta, your tomatoes and mozzarella is so good.
Well, and I don't think you can eat a lot of bruschetta,
Well,
right?
let me think about let me try it and get back to you
Okay.
because I love it.
Well,
Oh,
yeah.
but I think this was, interesting how different you and I are on desserts.
Well, I'm not really
I know,
surprising.
but it's just so fun. It really is.
It is one. Actually, it's very interesting because it makes for an interesting conversation.
Mhm, mhm. Real quick, do you guys have pumpkin pie?
I don't like pumpkin, but everybody
Okay.
else loves it.
So do you make it or do you buy one to have?
No, I make everything.
So you'll make a pumpkin pie.
I will probably make pumpkin something, a pumpkin cheesecake, a pumpkin
Okay.
pie. I haven't done a pumpkin pie. I feel like that's very boring. Sorry. Sorry to anyone who loves pumpkin pie. I feel
It's
like
tradition. You
I
can't
just,
argue tradition. What about
yeah,
pumpkin roll? Have you ever had a pumpkin roll?
I don't like pumpkin anything, but
No,
I
I
would,
don't either, but a pumpkin roll is a different category on its
but
own.
that's hard work. You have to like roll the cake when it's really warm and then you have to unroll
Really?
it. And
I've seen some of your desserts. I've seen that one that you just were gonna show me. That looks like a lot of work.
oh, yeah, well, anyway.
I know the difference. It's hard work for something that you personally don't like. Do you know what I'm saying? If you liked it, you would be like, "That's nothing. That's not that hard. You just put it on a you know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
I hope I didn't, like, offend you,
No, it's
right?
funny. It's so funny.
I'm the same way, by the way. Like, I'm like, I would never make that, but if I wanted something, I'd be like, "Hmm, I can try that." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, okay, I have an interesting study, or did you have something else on my cutting?
No, I do not.
All right. This is from the aau.edu university, and I'm so sorry I don't remember what university this is. But what they did was they took they took a bunch of groups of people in different
Mhm.
settings. So they did buffet, they did like a cafeteria style at this university. They did a sit down, they did those were the three types of dinners they did. But what they did was they had the people pick their desserts first before their entrees. So they brought them their dessert menu and then or they saw the dessert first on the buffet line, either way, whichever way you wanted to look at it, and they had them eat that first. They also kept the study what's that word I'm looking for? All of the desserts were the exact same price. So that was not a factor in it. So they were
Mhm.
all the exact same price for all of them. It's fixed cost, I guess is what they said. Here's where it got interesting. Diners who chose indulgent desserts first chose low-calorie main or side dishes, and they consumed fewer calories overall.
Oh, wow.
If you yeah. So if you're looking at all your dessert first and you choose that first, this is a perfect time to talk about this because if you're having Thanksgiving meal, look at your desserts and choose what you're having first, and then do the rest. This
Mhm.
study is very interesting to me because that's less calories and you're gonna choose better meals. Now,
Mhm.
diners who picked the healthier desserts thought that they already did their good deed and had high calorie dinners. And those calorie dinners usually were higher than even that dessert
Wow.
would have been. Yeah.
This makes sense to me because I've done this. I've
Yes.
gone
And
somewhere and I wanted to order something and I'm like, let order the salad for dinner."
right. Or let me look at or yes, I do the same thing. Like if I know we're going out for ice cream like that night, I'm like, I'm just gonna get something light.
Mhm.
Okay, an average of 30% fewer calories were consumed by those who chose indulgent desserts first.
Wow. 30%.
That's huge. That's a big difference.
That's a big really big difference.
Yes. Now here's where it gets interesting. If participants had a lot on their mind or they were distracted, were on their phone while they were looking at the menu when they went through, didn't pay attention, and they had unhealthy choices at both.
Oh,
And they didn't even know. They didn't even realize that they did it. They were so distracted that they were like, "Oh, that pie looks good," and, "Oh, that Alfredo looks good." Grabbed their food, sat down, ordered their food, and had it. So, I think this is where I think it can be all, like, duh, aha moment is, like, that whole mindfulness piece of eating,
yeah,
right?
very true. So
If you're
what I hear of you saying
yeah.
above everything is pick your dessert first.
Yes, for sure. Don't eat it well, you could eat it first, but not necessarily eat it first, but at least know that you're going to have that first.
Sure.
Because that brings that mindfulness piece there too.
Right.
You're
Right.
mindful of what you're having and you know what you're going, "Okay, I'm gonna have that, so I don't even need to eat all of this food. I only might wanna eat half of it because 'cause I'm gonna have the pie later."
That's very interesting.
But isn't it interesting that if you're super distracted, you don't even know what you're picking?
I agree because I mean, we've all been there,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know. You get home and you're like, "How did I get here?" Because you're distracted.
They said they actually interviewed the people and they were like, "I didn't even know I got dessert."
Oh,
I've been there too.
that makes me so sad.
I know, but that's just what we do. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're
Yeah.
on our phone getting our food, or we're arguing with your kids at the dinner table at the restaurant, and you're like, "I don't know, just get me this and that," or whatever we're doing
Yeah.
that we're not even paying attention to it, which is going to impact our food choices as well.
Wow. Very interesting.
So, yeah, pick our dessert first.
Yeah.
Pick your dessert
Yeah.
first, out of everything, and then choose.
I like that.
It's good, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a, call to action this week?
Well, I had a couple of tips before we get there.
Oh, yes.
Just to a couple, not a lot. But we've talked about the 3-bite rule before. The first bite of a dessert is so delicious.
Mhm.
And then the second bite, you're trying to chase the goodness, right? And then the third bite, you're like, "Eh," but you're still eating it just because it's there.
Mhm. It's so good still. But I'm gonna tell myself, my brain has already gotten the stimulation it needs from it.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah, because
but it
you
boils
get bored of that
yeah,
sensory yeah.
and I think
Um,
that's key here.
and I would the other thing I would say is choose adequate protein and fiber for your apps and your meals,
Mhm.
because then maybe you will order something, but it won't be as indulgent.
Yeah.
And
I
then you put a word to this, which I really like. You said, "Make islands, not continents."
continents.
Can you
Yeah.
explain what that means?
Yeah, so if you think about your plate, put little bits of the food on your plate for Thanksgiving instead of having a big mound of this mashed potato here and a big lump of this over here and then like another thing here and you have this big continent on your plate. But if you make little islands, you'll be more less likely to consume a ton of calories extra.
Well, and I
Does that
think
make
this
sense?
hits that satiety thing because you're like, "Oh, the mashed potatoes were really good and creamy," but then I'm eating what's something crunchy that you would eat at Thanksgiving?
Uh, the green bean casserole with the crunchies on top.
Okay, so then you have the texture from that, and then you have something that's a little sweet and savory, or, like you have enough balance on your plate that you feel satisfied. So maybe when it comes to dessert, you're like, I'm okay. I can just have a bite and move on."
That's really interesting that maybe that there's not enough different textures at some meals
Mhm.
to keep us busy.
I watched this video of these people eating there was an experiment. They were eating mac and cheese, and the first mac and cheese bowl, they were fine, and then they got a second bowl of mac and cheese, and they're like, "I don't want any more mac and cheese." 'Cause can you imagine eating, like, 2 giant bowls of mac and cheese? After, like, the first one, you're kind of done with this. It might be good, but you're done because it's so boring.
Interesting. I never I don't know why we talked about it a lot this episode, and I never still until right now was like, yeah, now I'm thinking of Thanksgiving. I'm not a big Thanksgiving meal as a whole fan. Excuse me. I am the one that will just rather have dessert,
Mhm.
but I'm thinking that a lot of the textures on Thanksgiving are very similar.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of different variety to them. Hmm,
Yep. Yep.
could be why. Interesting. So, all right.
Okay.
Call to
So
action.
my call to action is gonna be the same. I really wanna continue working on reducing my phone usage when I'm doing something else. I don't
Mm,
I wanna learn how to put my phone down and not pick it up just because I'm sitting idle somewhere.
okay. So you're
Uh,
working on it again.
yep,
All right.
and you're
Um, I don't really know what mine's gonna be. I'm gonna just I don't wanna go the same. I actually wanna do at least 1 day of arms this week
okay,
instead because I've done stretching for the most part of my trifecta this month. I wanna add in a day of arm exercises.
okay, great.
That's it. I'm
Keeping it
all
simple.
right. I hope. We'll see.
Have a good week.
Great. Have a good week next
Bye.
week.